create these amazing benefits packages for our employees. Again, when I talk about HR professionals sucking at taking care of ourselves, if you've ever asked like your HR friends, like how many of you actually use the services that you've created for your employees? How many of you actually remember that you are employees too?
Yes.
So therefore you are entitled to these things too. A lot of times when I ask people that question, maybe 3 out of 10 are using those services. But you've got 7 people that aren't using them, or
Mhm.
hundreds of people that aren't using them, never even thought about using those services for themselves. And I always say, look, you were employees too. Those things that you created, you didn't just create them for the employee experience outside of yourself. You are an employee as well, and the employee experience should matter to you because it impacts you as well. So go
Sure.
partake in those services, go to therapy. And I also think that one of the things that I would love to see organizations do for HR when you're recruiting your HR professionals, I encourage leaders to please include coaching for your HR people. Because if your HR person is the only, which most organizations they are, they're going to need an outside voice. They're going to need some external support. And it's not just about joining those big HR organizations that we're all familiar with, but it's about giving them opportunities to create their own safe spaces to get the support that they need. And a classic example of this would be like yesterday, for example, in talking to one of my clients, and she said she was bouncing some ideas off of me, some of which she had thought through because we've gone through the process of how do we think things through to make decisions. But she wanted to bounce them off of me. And the last thing she said before she closed off the call was, I'm so glad that I have you because outside of you, I'd be lost. I have no one. And she's sitting as a head of HR in a group of companies. And that happens for a lot of HR professionals that I work with who are heads of teams, heads of big organizations, but they're so alone. They have no one.
Yeah, it happens more often than we think.